In today's episode of The Best of Raleigh, we are diving into the world of dog photography with someone who has a heart as big as her camera lens. Joanne Wetzel from 5 Freedoms Photography joins us to share how she's turned her love for dogs and photography into a mission to save those furry friends' lives. Joanne has photographed over 650 dogs, using her talent to help them find forever homes through beautiful, soulful imagery. With a passion for helping shelter pups get seen, Joanne's work goes beyond just photos. She's raised nearly $50,000 for rescue efforts and continues to donate a portion of her clients' sales to support these causes. I am so excited to talk to you today.
Welcome to The Best of Raleigh with your host and real estate expert, Gretchen Coley, owner of the Coley Group. This show is all about the people and places that make the Raleigh area so special. Here's your host, Gretchen Coley.
Thank you so much for being on the show. And I think you all are going to be excited as well. So if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, you might want to roll over to YouTube and just take a look at some of the photos that we're going to show during the session, because your images are incredible.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. And we'll go into the photography piece, but who are you?
Yeah, I'm a serial entrepreneur. My photography business is not my first business. I'm also what I consider to be a Raleigh native, which is we're a rare breed now. I have a love for women, empowering women, and like I said, I'm just a very, very driven and ambitious business owner. I never know what to say when people are like, tell me about you.
Yeah.
We could go in a lot of different directions.
I know.
With that.
Well, you can, but I think the big thing about this show is we want to share the people, places, and businesses that you need to know in Raleigh.
Yeah.
And your name came up through our social media director. We have passion for dogs. Like, I can't believe I don't have my dogs here with me today. We have
that would
Coco,
be really nice having them run around.
Trooper, and I just can't believe I don't have them. And Denny has a fabulous dog, and so she pointed you out and was like, we have to have her on the show. She's doing such a good work.
Yeah.
So how did you get into dog photography?
I never set out to become a photographer. I have an entertainment background, so a lot of my friends
tell that.
are photographers and videographers. But my previous business I closed back in 2017. I was really, really burned out, and I found myself with a lot of free time. So of course I was like, you know what, I want to give back in some way. And one of my best friends actually said, hey, they're always looking for volunteers at our local animal shelter. You could walk the dogs, cuddle the dogs, just spend time with them, promote them in your social media pages, fundraise, all the things. And as soon as I walked in for my first day of volunteering, I was like, I love this so much. And so for the preceding 2 years, I just got really involved in outreach, fundraising, anything I could do to help these animals get adopted and to be seen. And I realized they didn't have very good photos.
No, they don't.
They're horrible.
And it's hard for me to even look at the photos,
right,
because they look so sad.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking.
Yes.
And I admire the fact that you can go into a dog shelter and love on them so much. I would love to do that, but I would have every single dog at home. Like, my daughter and I always joke that if we ever win the lottery, nobody will know, but there will be signs.
Yes,
and there will be dogs.
Yes, lots
there
of
would
dogs.
be lots of dogs.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think for me, it's more about showing up for them. I kind of try to set myself and my emotions aside for what I'm feeling, because it is very sad. But I know that when I take those dogs on a walk, like, they're excited and they're happy, and it's a way for me to enrich their lives a little bit until they, actually get to their forever home. So
you started taking photos of them.
Yes.
Because their photos were
not great.
A little sad.
And we did have a couple volunteer photographers at that time, but Wake County, as all the growth that we've seen, more animals come into the shelter, and those photographers just couldn't keep up with the sheer intake. So I bought a camera and I just started taking photos, and I loved it. Loved the challenge of getting them to engage with me, to open up, to really capture their personality in a single snapshot so that they can be seen online, right, among all of the millions of animals available.
That is such a beautiful gift that you have, because I've looked at a lot of your images over the past couple of days, and you can see their personality in one shot.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, I want that one. Or
yes,
he's kind of mischievous, or he's spunky, or she's just a fun-loving gal that's going to be a lap dog.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you can do that, because people drive a long way to come and pick up a dog that they're going to adopt, correct?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, people come from all over, for sure. And I think for me, I really wanted to just be able to, I mean, they say something like 90% of people, that's not accurate. I think it's more like 80% of people adopt based on a single photo. And so if I can give that dog one amazing image that just stops people in their tracks, especially I also put a big focus on harder to adopt animals, ones that maybe they're a little older, they're past the puppy stages. It's a black dog, maybe they have heartworms, maybe they're got hit by a car and so they only have 3 legs. Like there's a lot of different reasons why I focus on the dogs that I focus on, but then I help them get adopted because I help them be seen, right, and kind of overcome those adoption hurdles.
We could go into a whole show on being seen, because that's one thing that's been coming up a lot for me, which is maybe how the universe connected us. Is just, being seen, from animals to the people to your children.
Yes.
Everyone wants to be seen, and what a beautiful gift you get to give them.
Yeah.
So tell me about the process of working with you for photography, because I've never had my dogs have never had a photo shoot session.
Which that really surprises me, actually.
I know. They've done a lot of video. And so we have one dog who loves the camera, Coco, and we have one dog who cowers in the corner. But you have a very special gift, as well as your photography, of the dog training background, and you've learned so much about their behavior. Tell me a little bit about how you get them to get that shot.
Oh man, I have so many tips and tricks and tools and things that I bring with me to a session. Well, most importantly, I always sit down with my clients and we have a planning call, because I want to know everything that there is to know about your dog. I want to know their triggers, their fears, their likes, their dislikes, and how I need to engage and approach them at an actual session. And then at the session itself, I've got yummy treats, I've got noisemakers, I make noises with my mouth. If the dog particularly loves to play, then we do a lot of play, tug of war, fetch, bringing their favorite toy. Maybe they just want to roll in the grass and chew on sticks. I let them do that. And so we are able to capture sort of a myriad of images. I also have a longer lens. So for the shyer pups, the ones that shake in the corner, I give them a lot of time, and I give them the choice and the decision to come to me when they're ready. I don't immediately force them into a photo. And so in that way, I sit on the ground, I let them smell me and kind of engage with me. I'm able to get them to open up a little bit more. And those are the images. At that point, I can capture some really, really amazing images.
Isn't it amazing how much dogs are like people?
Very much so.
They're
the parallel
so
is crazy.
Emotional. They are so in their own way sometimes.
Yep. Absolutely.
And it's amazing when someone allows them to be seen, when someone allows their personality to come through.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to book a shoot with you, walk me through the step-by-step process of how that works.
Absolutely. So I always have people go to my session info page on my website. I want them to read all about the process, pricing, testimonials from other clients, frequently asked questions. And then of course I want them to also see my portfolio too. From there, they can submit an inquiry with me, and generally we hop on a consult call, because I think working with pets and people bringing their pets to me, there is a little bit of uncomfortability. I think the interview with Sarah Coffin, you guys were talking about the discomfort of being on camera. So I want to address any discomfort that a client has potentially. Oh, my dogs are too crazy. They're not well behaved enough. They don't have enough training. And we kind of work through all that. And I reassure them, hey, I've got lots of tips and tricks. If I can photograph crazy shelter dogs at the shelter who literally probably have no training whatsoever, I can photograph your pet, and then they can book with me. We figure out a date, a location that's great for them. I really try to curate and customize a session based on my clients' wants. I also do artwork, so I want them to order beautiful artwork for their home or their office or as gifts. And so we think about the style and the aesthetic that we want to get from the session as well. And then we have the session, and I walk them through the whole process of choosing their images and making sure that they're getting all the images that they absolutely want from their session. And then I deliver their artwork, whether it's an album or wall art or something, and they can smile at that every single day when they walk into their home.
So let's talk about the art piece, because I think that's like what she just said is exactly what we do for every photo shoot that we do for our team, for our brand, for our kids, you name it. So it's so special to be able to do that with your pet. So I have a little bit of an older dog. She's not super old, but she's not a puppy anymore. And she is my baby, and she's my daughter Caroline's baby, who just called while we were getting ready. Coco.
Okay, yeah.
And she's just the sweetest, just amazing personality. And having a piece of art for her when she's not here anymore would be really a beautiful thing, because they're with us for such a small portion of our lives.
Don't make me cry. I promised to myself I wasn't going to cry today.
The dogs, we're in here crying over the dogs.
It's all good. Crying's allowed.
But they're such special things. So tell me a little bit about the artwork that you offer.
Yeah, so one thing that I offer is wall art, obviously. If your dog loves to run and play and leap and swim and all the things, I want to create a beautiful, generally a large wall piece that you can put up in your home in a foyer or over top of your couch or mantle or something like that. But one of the biggest pieces that I sell is an album. It's a fine art album. It's like a coffee table book that you can put in your living room, and you can open it up to a different image each day. And I love shooting a session or photographing a session where we just capture a good variety of stuff, and I design the album for you. And it is something that whenever you just want to look at your dog and look at your relationship and those moments of you guys together, you can just open that album and you can flip through it. And it comes in this really cool acrylic box so that you can also display it as an art piece on a bookcase or a mantle or in your office or whatever as well. I love doing albums for clients, just because you're getting all of your images, you're putting them all in there, and I curate them in such a way that it really tells a story of you and your relationship with your dog.
I love that. So we're going to have to do that. I think you can tell by the tear in my eye that we're totally doing some dog
your heart.
Yeah. So you have such an innate desire to be the best. Just reading your website, and we're going to put all of her details down below because you have to go check this out. She is the epitome of the best of Raleigh, like from learning the dog training pieces to then going and perfecting the craft of dog photography. And I just was able to hear some behind the scenes of her chatting with Damien, our videographer, about the different lenses and how she's capturing the styles. You stay on your game. You're growing, right?
Right.
Like, tell me a little bit about, your growth journey since you've started Five Freedoms.
That's a journey. That is definitely a journey. I think, there is something to being a specialist. And especially when you're working with dogs, I'll hear clients say, hey, I hired another photographer who didn't know how to work with dogs, and my dogs just didn't look great in the photos. They were stressed out. They were out of focus, whatever. And so for me, I was like, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to specialize in this, I want to be the best. But I also really want to serve the dogs really, really well as well, because I do see so many opportunities just out in daily life where I think people are stressing dogs out more. And I'm like, I want this to be a really positive and a really great experience for them. And so I've done, I've studied under world-renowned pet photographers. I've gone to dog photography conferences. I'm always constantly evolving and learning in my process so that I can give my client a better experience and also more amazing art.
Isn't that so much fun though? Like, I can't imagine people who don't want to grow themselves. I think that in the absence of thriving, you're dying.
Absolutely.
And I'm 49 now, so it doesn't matter how old I am. I'm still constantly like trying to learn 3 different things at one time. I should probably scale it back a little bit and
I think we all multitask.
But just reading about all of that was so fascinating, because I do think you're right. There are very few pet specialist photographers. All the photographers will do photographs of pets.
Yes.
But you're right. The dogs are just a little off. They're just not exactly the way. Now, you still have such a heart for rescue dogs. Are you still volunteering?
I do every week, as often as I can, generally every week. Past few weeks, we've had a lot of bad weather, so I haven't been able to get there, which is, I'm like, okay, tomorrow. But generally I go every Friday. I also host a monthly initiative called Foster Photo Day.
Ooh.
So any rescue from the Triangle area or any rescue in North Carolina can bring a dog to me for a photo update, complimentary, and then I just give them the images they can use for marketing. And then, of course, you already mentioned about my 10% of sales.
Yes.
And then, of course, I host fundraisers throughout the year. I do a calendar contest, and we raise $21,000 for a dog rescue.
Yes, my dog.
I wanted. You asked me earlier if I wanted to talk about anything else, and I want to drop this in here because we're going to be doing another one for Second Chance next year.
Wow.
And we do it every year, starting in February, and people can enter to win a session with me and to be featured in the calendar. So there's 13 months, so there's There's 13 winners, and it's cutthroat. It's very competitive, but we raise a ton of money for the rescue. It's something like $5 to enter, $10 to enter, and $1 vote. So everybody gets their family, their friends, their co-workers in on it. You just vote for $1, and then the top 13 winners are in the calendar, and then win a session with me.
I'm seeing a way to support this through the Coley group. I think we have a lot of very competitive clients who love their dogs. And you know what's so funny is dogs sell houses. When a client has a dog and we do a listing photo shoot for the house, if the dog is there, we want the dog in the photos.
Okay.
Whether it's on a chair or running to the door or laying wherever they lay, because people have such a fondness for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
and
it allows them
it's
to
the essence of home.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. It just allows them to envision their dog in that space, enjoying themselves, relaxing, having a good time, and just living their best life.
We need to start getting some in the backyards, though. So, you know, so the dog gets
little
a vision of what his lifestyle
what his life,
what his
absolutely.
lifestyle can be like.
Where his sunbathing spot is going to be in the backyard.
Yeah, here's where you're going to bury your bones, pal. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So you're giving back 10% to different missions. How are you picking which rescue you're giving to?
So this is actually really fun. So at the beginning of the year, early January, I crowdsource from everybody in my community. I say, hey, nominate a nonprofit or rescue of choice in North Carolina specifically, or a shelter. It can be a shelter as well. And everybody will drop in their nonprofit or their rescue. And I have, obviously, the ones that I've served previously, I remove them from the list. And I just literally choose them out of a hat. Choose 4 out of a hat, and so each quarter, and then I'll kind of just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and those are the organizations of choice that I support throughout the year.
I love that. Where can people find you?
Yes, online, 5freedomsphotography.com, and on all social media platforms at 5freedomsphotography.
And we're going to put that down below. If you're listening to this, you need to go follow. You need to go take a look. Your jaw is going to drop. Like, I've been in Raleigh for 25 years. I didn't get the privilege of growing up here, but it is so incredible when I run across someone who's running a business like this and they're in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Because, oftentimes you'd have to go to a bigger city
for sure
to have exposure to someone who's as gifted and talented as you are in your specialty. So it's a beautiful thing to see that. And obviously we think Raleigh is a pretty cool place to live. And if you are interested in getting a dog photo shoot for your pet, and giving back to the community in a way that connects you and helps you to give back, you have to reach out. She's amazing, and she epitomizes what the Best of Raleigh is. This show is all about highlighting the people, places, and the businesses that you need to know in Raleigh and do business with, and I couldn't be more happy to have you on the show, Joanne. Thank you so much for coming. And for those of you who are thinking about making a move in the Raleigh area or in the suburbs, we would love to help ensure that your move is seamless. Reach out to us at thecoleygroup.com, and we will make sure that all the aspects of your move are taken care of and that you're getting to live the lifestyle you want, and so is Fido. Fido is getting the backyard that he wants, and everybody in your family is happy. And you know what they say, when Fido is happy, everybody is happy. So we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of The Best of Raleigh. We drop an episode every Friday on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube, and we'll see you in The Best of Raleigh. Thank you.